Brian Cox, astronomer, debunks Big Bang with creation story which came before the existence of the universe. The famed physicist previously delivered a stunning story of a dark time before the universe came into existence. Professor Brian Cox has transformed his field of science in the 21st century into something accessible to everyone, regularly contributing to public debate and discussion. Never one to shy away from the big questions, the physicist previously took on the story of the Big Bang, the theory of how the universe started. Its early conception was first suggested in the 1920s by a Belgian priest called Georges Lemaitre, who theorized the universe began from a single point, a lone primordial atom. Scientists have ever since built on the theory, and it is today largely accepted to be the event behind our existence, which we know as the Big Bang. Professor Cox, however, has argued that there was a time before the Big Bang, a time in which the universe did not exist at all. He explored this in his documentary series Universe, Where Everything Begins and Ends, stating that before the launch point of the Big Bang there was no matter at all. All that existed was space-time and an ocean of energy, almost still but gently rippling. And this place, he said, should be imagined as the near-still ocean of energy filling the void. I guess here he wants to refer to the ether, as the ancient Greeks thought it filled everything. It would have had no structure, he said, and the energy in the space would have caused it to stretch violently, something known in space as inflation. Flipping the Bible creation story on its head, Professor Cox proceeded to explain the science creation story. He said, in the beginning there was an ocean of energy that drove a rapid expansion of space known as inflation. There were ripples in the ocean. As inflation ended, the ocean of energy was converted into matter by the Big Bang, and the pattern of the ripples was imprinted into our universe as regions of slightly different density in the hydrogen and helium gas that formed shortly after the Big Bang. He said, the denser regions of gas collapsed to form the first stars and the first galaxies. And 9 billion years later, a new star formed in the Milky Way, the Sun. The star was joined by 8 planets, including our Earth, he says. And nearly 13.8 billion years after it all began, we emerged blinking into the light. In 2020, Sir Roger Penrose, a British mathematician, made a similar argument about the beginning of the universe, in which he received his Nobel Prize for Physics. The accolade helped establish the black holes do in fact exist. He said he had found 6 warm points in the sky, which he called Hawking points, after the late physicist Stephen Hawking, who theorized that black holes leak radiation and eventually evaporate away entirely. He explained that these points were around 8 times the diameter of the moon. The time in which it takes a black hole to evaporate is almost unimaginable and could potentially take longer than the entire lifespan of our universe. This means that they are near impossible to detect. But Sir Roger believes that dead black holes from earlier universes or eons are now observable. If true, Professor Hawking's theories and life's work will be proven correct. And at the time, Sir Roger said, I claim that there is observation of Hawking radiation. The Big Bang was not the beginning. There was something before the Big Bang, and that something is what we will have in our future, he said. We have a universe that expands and expands, and all mass decays away, and in this crazy theory of mine, that remote future becomes the Big Bang of another eon. So our Big Bang began with something which was the remote future of a previous eon, and there would have been similar black holes evaporating away via Hawking evaporation, and they would produce these points in the sky that I call Hawking points. We are seeing them. These points are about 8 times the diameter of our moon and are slightly warming up regions. There's pretty good evidence for at least 6 of these points, he says. And this is on Express UK by Joel Day. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.